Good morning, beautiful people of the Laurelverse. Welcome to another episode on the Gist with Laurel. So, how's your week been? Okay, so today, focusing on, we'll bring you another very hot gist. And who is so our guest will be joining us soon and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Alex. Thank you for joining us on the Gist with Laurel this morning.
You're welcome.
I
How
can
you doing?
see you.
hmm How you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you, Alex. And how's your week been?
So far so good. Can't complain.
Okay. Alex, I can see you. I don't know if you need to work on your network.
You can't see me.
No, I can see you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Why
can
is
see
that? I can see you.
you. Okay, so I think it has to do with network then.
Perhaps. Let me see.
And I don't know if the viewers can see you too, because I can see you.
I wish someone could join to see if they can see both of us.
Okay, I think they'll be joining soon.
Oh, this is embarrassing. But I can see you clearly, and I can see myself too. Okay, you know
Okay.
what? Let me just leave and join again and see if that would work.
Okay, all right, that's perfect.
Stay live. I'll join.
All right, we're waiting. Hey, sorry guys about that. We're trying to fix this, so it's normal to have network issues. But trust me, today is going to be a bomb because this is something you really, really want to hear. Hello, Vickers. Good morning.
Can you see
Hi,
me
Alex.
now?
Okay, I still can't see you, but I think we'll just have to wait for a while.
Oh, wow. It's embarrassing.
It's
I
fine.
wish. Okay.
So while we're waiting for this to, fix itself, tell me
I didn't get that. Come again.
I said, while we're waiting for this to fix itself, how have you been? Like, how's your week been? Can you just, fill me in?
Ah, fine. I haven't been filming for a while now, just doing some writing here and there.
Okay. And how's the writing going? And I read recently that you're going to start a mental health, like a story behind the whole mental health ish thing, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully working on with a group, and we're trying to set up something to that regard. So hopefully soon. That's something obviously cooking.
Oh my God, that
Soon,
would be absolutely awesome. That would be so awesome. Trust me.
mm, I
We
look
was
forward
talking
to it.
about, like I said earlier, I feel like it's something that we've actually overlooked in Nigeria because I feel like it's something that doesn't happen to us blacks or doesn't happen to us Nigerians. I feel like it's a white man thing.
Uh,
You don't take it
appar-
seriously.
Apparently, that's a misconception about mental health here in Africa because
Yes.
we have a lot of people not they don't even know what mental health is. There are millions of Nigerians roaming the streets with one mental health condition or the other, and they're not even aware. Society
Very
isn't
true.
doing much. Society isn't doing much to create that awareness. If you look at government policies on mental health, you would be disappointed. And if you look at the way they have responded to mental health in the recent times, you would also be disappointed. For instance, look at COVID-19 situation. Now, why a lot of persons government have been so focused on getting people quarantined and isolated and all of those other measures they put in place, they did nothing. The government did virtually nothing to safeguard the mental health of Nigerians. And it's
Yeah.
terrible. And if you follow the trend of last year, Nigeria had a spike reported cases of suicide. Within the past 2 years, there have been an increase in reported cases of suicide. And that's a problem. Now, up to this moment, there have not been any official statement from the Ministry of Health, from the Nigerian Medical Association to address mental health. And that
Yeah.
tells you how bad it is here in Nigeria. Now, if those are saddled with the responsibility of creating awareness and treating mental health, they are not even talking about it. What do you expect from the average Nigerian who just wants to live his life? He doesn't care about that. So as long as he wakes up in the morning, goes about his business, comes back home, it's a routine for him. Mental health, oh no, it's not a serious thing for most Nigerians.
So, okay, so before we move on, let me quickly apologize to the viewers. So, I'm really sorry, viewers. We are still working on our guest's visual, but you can hear him, which is really more important because the conversation is actually what is more important. So, we'll just move on until this is able to fix itself.
All right.
So, Alex, can you
Yeah.
please tell us, like, break it to us what you mean of what mental health awareness is?
Okay. Basically, there are different categories of health. Now, there is physical health, there is emotional health, there is mental health, and there is spiritual health. And recently,
Okay.
there's also been a recent category, I think, financial health, even though it's not being widely accepted. But they're still looking at that too because it's believed that financial health somewhat affects other aspects of the human health, which I support that ideology too. So, mental health awareness is simply letting people know the importance of taking their mental health seriously, the dangers, complications of living life by chance and not taking care of your health. You only take care of your physical health. When you break down physically, that's when you go for treatment. It's really not a good thing. So, mental health awareness is letting people know that there is a mental aspect of health. There is a part of you that deals with your mind, and you have to take good care of it as much as you take care of your physical health. People go out on the workout, they do all sort of exercises and other routines to stay fit, but not many persons pay attention to their mental health, which is a problem.
Very
So awareness is just letting people know that hey, you got this aspect of your health and you have to be serious with it. That's basically what mental health awareness is. Let them know the dangers, what it involves, the steps they have to take to protect their mental health, how they can report cases of mental health, and treatments for mental health conditions.
Okay.
Basically, awareness. Yeah.
So I think we're really familiar with the awareness now, what it actually means. So what does mental health really mean?
Like I was explaining, I said there are different categories of health, and
Yeah.
mental health is just one of the aspects of the human health. Physical
Okay.
health has to do with the body, emotions have to do with the feelings, and there's the mental health that talks about your brain, everything about how your brain functions, how your brain interprets the information it gets from other parts of the body. So that
Yeah.
is mental health. So that's basically what mental health is. How strong, how alert are you up there? Not just about being fit. You might be physically fit, but mentally unhealthy.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So when
So
you talk
that's
about
it.
mentally unhealthy, so are we going to now consider that's probably so when someone is mentally unhealthy, are we going to say the person has like a mental disorder?
Well, you can't categorically say someone has a mental disorder unless the person has been diagnosed of a mental health disorder.
Oh,
Yeah. You
oh,
can't just say,
so
okay, because this person is showing signs of this, that means the person is that. No, it would be misleading to make that assumption. You have to diagnose the person properly. A physician has to carry out the necessary medical evaluations on the person's mental health to ascertain
yeah.
what exactly is wrong with the person. Because
Okay.
we react to things around us, a lot of things happen around us, and we react to them. And because of reacting, we show off signs of possible signs of mental health. It doesn't mean we having that person is suffering from a mental health condition. No, it's just
Yeah.
a temporal reaction to what is happening around you. So we
Okay.
can't say whoever has this symptom, whoever has that symptom, is definitely mental health disorder. No, that's a misnomer.
Okay, so before we talk about signs, so hence we can really say, okay, we can't really call it a disorder like straight up simply because the person has like a certain kind of mental condition, yeah? So
Yeah.
what do I say, what is a mental disorder so that we'll know, okay, how deep it has to be before it's tagged a disorder?
Okay. Mental health disorder is basically anything that affects the way your brain um receives information, decode the information, and communicate that information to other aspects of your body. Yeah, that's basically what mental health condition is. So your brain receives information through different senses. Your eyes,
Yeah,
your nose, your skin, your ears, and other senses. Now, those every information your brain receives goes to the brain. It's interpreted in the brain and
yeah,
sent back to the body, the part of the body responsible for carrying out that action. Now, when there is a break in this communication channel, when the brain is unable to get that communication, the information is not getting to the brain as that when it should, or
yeah,
it's not the brain is not receiving it. That that means there's a possibility of the person having a mental health disorder. A
okay,
possibility. Now, the brain could receive the information, but may not be able to transmit the information to the body responsible for carrying out the action. There is also a break in communication, and that could mean a mental health disorder. So it's basically a break in the communication between the brain and the senses,
okay.
region
So
communication.
before we move on to the signs here, I just want to quickly say this to the viewer. So once more, I really apologize for our guest's visual, but his audio is really clear, which is still a good thing. So do not forget you can drop your questions or contributions at the comment section and I'll read it out to you. Thank you. So moving on, let's talk about signs. So what are the signs we have to look out for before we say, okay, this person really needs help or this person has like a mental issue. So what are the kind of signs we need to see so that we can just conclude and say, oh, okay, this person has a mental issue?
Okay. Now, you can't just go to the signs. You can't say these are the signs of this particular, because there are different types of mental health.
Okay.
There are different types, so you can't pinpoint this is what is. And the thing about mental health is they are so related, so much so that the signs and symptoms of a particular mental health condition can
Yeah.
also be the signs and symptoms of another one. So that's why I said it takes proper diagnosis from a professional to be able to say, oh, this is what is affecting this person. There are developmental mental health conditions. Now, we have behavioral and emotional mental health conditions. There are sensory conditions. So each of these categories, there are subcategories, have their signs and symptoms. And if you look at all the mental health conditions in those categories, they have
Yeah.
virtually almost the same symptoms. For instance, developmental conditions, you have autism spectrum disorder, then you have processing disorders, and there are also Down syndrome. Some of these
Yeah.
conditions have similarities in their signs and symptoms. So you can't say this is what is wrong with this person. Now, under behavioral and emotional disorders, there is attention deficit disorder, and there's bipolar, there's anxiety, there's depression. Now, if you begin to break down the signs and symptoms of these disorders, you will see them there. Someone who is depressed sometimes shows signs of anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone with bipolar sometimes shows signs of anxiety. So that's why it's not easy to say this is what is wrong with this person. You just have to be certain. But there are basic signs you have to look out for. There are basic signs you have to look out for to help you say, okay, this person um, is not behaving like the average human should.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just talk about child or mental health disorders. Now, children usually have things that are expected of them at a certain age. When a child is born, there are some health conditions that you can diagnose when the child is born. Immediately the child is born. There are some that takes time, and it doesn't manifest until the child is in his or her teenage age. That's when you get to see them, obvious signs. Well, mental health conditions relating to children, you could easily tell when the child is not meeting up with the expectations of that age. For instance, a child is not talking when the child is supposed to talk. It could be, not definitely, it could be the child has a mental health condition. When the child is not moving parts of the body, when the child is not able to understand basic gestures, basic calls, contact, communication, it could be that the child is having a mental health condition. So at that point, when you notice a child's delay in certain behavior, in certain expectations, it is up to you as a parent to alert a medical practitioner. That, particularly, I would prefer you go to a child doctor and let them diagnose the child, okay, and check the child, find out what exactly is responsible. It could be normal thing. It could be a normal problem with the child that okay, the child is definitely gonna grow, not necessarily a mental health condition. It could be as a
True.
result of the child's environment too. For instance, if you lock children at home, you don't allow them socialize with other kids, there are tendencies that the child will have delays in communication because they are not allowed to express themselves out there. So you cannot say it's not a child that doesn't have any social life. It's actually having a mental health condition. You can't say until you put the child through the different steps, processes of evaluation, then you can ascertain what exactly is wrong with the child. There are no
Okay.
definite symptoms, they are just basic symptoms of each of the categories. ADHD, bipolar, anxiety, they all have similarities. They all have similarities. So you have to watch out for these similarities, and then watch out for the signs. That's basically. I think I let me just read out one or two symptoms. Okay, let me see. Let me read that for people following. Uh, Let me read out some things that are common amongst mental health. Okay. Now, for someone with anxiety, anxiety, under anxiety, it could be severe, it could be mild, it could be
Yeah.
cases of phobia, and you know there are different types of phobia. Now, under anxiety, the person is always afraid, easily frightened. Person is easily frightened. The person is always afraid. Now, the person avoids certain conditions because of that anxiety. So when you see a child constantly avoiding to do a particular thing for no reason, for no apparent reason, it's you have to call the child down, talk to the child, and as a parent or as a guardian or caregiver, you
Yeah.
do basic evaluation of the child before you rush the child to any practitioner, any professional to do the rest of the job. Do your own basic assessment. Be sure that there is something wrong with this child. You have to be very observant when you're taking care of children or even an adult. When an adult is showing signs of anxiety, we ignore them. We call it, in Nigeria, we use the Nigeria term fear, fear. We say the person is just being scared and just being childish. But that could be
True.
anxiety disorder. That could be. But we're not seeing it because the person is just, I want to be on my own. People with anxiety, they just, okay, I just want to be on. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. They're avoiding. They avoid situations, avoid people, just so that that anxiety is not triggered. That's one of the basic signs. It's also avoidance is also a sign of depression too. They just want to be on their own, stay alone. Don't
True.
talk to me. I don't want to talk to anybody. Um, yeah. Then people with attention deficit disorder, they often lack focus.
Okay.
They often lack focus. They are unable to concentrate. So, and there are different cases. We have attention deficit disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now, those are two different types of ADD and ADHD, but they're all about attention deficit disorder. Someone with ADHD becomes hyperactive, but someone with ADD, it's always reserved. So one is hyper and the other one is low. It's just down there. Someone with hyperactivity disorder is always reacting. The person shouts, shows us signs of aggression, signs of aggression. But the one with ADD, attention deficit disorder, the person is always calm, reserved, isolated. I want to be on my own and stuff like that. Then there is one of the most common. Sorry to say this, we have autism spectrum disorder. It's common in Nigeria. Autism spectrum disorder is common in Nigeria, but we do not. People are not aware that what they are saying out there, it's autism. They are not aware. A child is unable to. A child, someone with autism spectrum disorder behaves the same, almost the same way with someone with OCD. They don't want to be touched. People with OCD, they just want their thing. Keep their thing the way they are. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Let me do my thing myself. They avoid
Yeah.
contact with people. If I keep this book here, I want it that way. If I arrange this pen here, don't come and scatter it. If you want to get anything from that shelf, call my attention to it. I will get it for you. Because the moment you touch it, they feel like, no, you've scattered the whole arrangement. They have an ideal way of doing things. And if you try to fit in, they are not comfortable. And then someone with autism spectrum disorder sometimes have that, they avoid contact with people. Don't touch me, don't touch my stuff. So now you're seeing the similarities. There's OCD and
Yeah.
autism. They have this "don't touch my stuff, don't touch me." They're afraid there's you're going to contaminate their body if you touch them. You're bringing in germs to their body. So don't touch my stuff. They're like that. Now, people with autism too, they have these bodily movements. Some of them they shake their head, they shake their head. Some of them tap their hands on their body. Some of them move about, they roam about from one spot to the other. That is, they are always not able to stay still, focused. At the same time,
Yeah.
they are thinking. They are thinking. They are trying to process why you don't understand them. Now you are complaining that these people are not normal. They are not behaving like the normal human being. They are not communicating. But they on their own, they are saying, they are in their mind, they're like, why can't they just understand me? They're looking for a better way to express themselves to you, but they can't find that expression. No, there's always
Yeah.
a break in communication. There's always a bridge in communication. You don't understand them, they don't understand you. They understand you, but don't know how to communicate what they want to tell you. So you are the one who is basically not understanding them. Behavioral disorders have the
Okay.
similar symptoms. Similar symptoms.
Yeah.
There is also seasonal affective disorder. There are a host of it. A host
Okay.
of it. Um, People with depression. See, depression and anxiety goes hand in glove.
Yeah.
Depression and anxiety. Most people with depression have signs of mild anxiety. And watch a person with anxiety disorder, they may likely drift into um, depression if not treated. If not treated,
Okay.
yeah. That's what we call complications of mental health disorders. Most mental health disorders does not have cure.
Wow.
Yes, 99% of them don't
So
have cure.
is that why like most of these people who are like in mental homes, like in psychiatric homes, don't get help till probably they leave the earth?
Okay, I'm gonna correct something because now, whenever we are addressing these people, we have to understand that they are humans.
Okay.
We have to understand. We have to address them as fair as possible. They are special
Yeah.
needs people. Okay,
Okay.
they are not. They don't have. They are not insane. They are not insane. They just have
Okay.
special needs. They just need special attention. They're not insane. So I get angry when I see people call someone mad. When you see describing somebody as mad, insane, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. It's derogatory. We shouldn't do that. These people need help.
Okay.
If given the right attention,
Okay.
if given the right attention, a lot of them will do better in life. That you're diagnosed of a particular
So
mental health disorder doesn't mean you cannot still be successful in life. That's not true. You just need attention. Treatment. Given the right treatment, you can still meet up, you can still maximize your potential. Yeah.
so like when you talked about some type of OCD as a mental disorder, because I think that one is something I find really common among everybody. So basically, I just want to know, is it
Okay.
that it doesn't, there are some things you guess to before you start saying, okay, this person needs help? Because I feel like some people think it's normal that, oh, I want this in a particular way. I don't want this thing to be dirty. When this thing is here, I want it to be there. But they still live their normal life,
Yeah.
like do normal things like all the normal people. But then they always have this time when, oh, I want this here. I want, like what you said, the whole OCD of wanting things to be in a particular way. So basically, are you saying that there are some times, like before we have to say it's a serious case, he has to probably like extend this particular stage or state?
Okay. OCD, overcompulsive disorder,
Yeah,
is one of the most common. Yes, it's one of the most common mental health disorder. And that is the truth. Um, there are a lot of people with OCD. Okay, human beings generally have an ideal way of doing things. Every person has a principle. You have your principle. You have your way of
yeah,
doing things. Now, when you are living out principle, when you're living your life based on your principle, people often don't understand you. So they may tag you a particular name. Because you like being careful doesn't make you an OCD patient.
Okay.
Because you like being organized doesn't make you an OCD patient. So we need to understand that being organized is a normal part of human life. I don't see reasons why people pick up something from somewhere, and when it's time to replace it, you just toss it anyhow. And then when the person complains about it, you say you're just being too careful or you're just being too clingy and all of that. No, it's a normal way of life. We have to normalize doing things the way they should be done. So you don't tag someone who is being organized as an OCD patient. Okay, remember I
Yeah.
said when we started, you don't diagnose people of mental health condition by looking at them. You see one or two times and you say, oh, that person is an OCD patient because the person got up from the place and arranged the place. It doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to go through um, all the processes of evaluation for you to be able to
Yeah.
ascertain if this person is really OCD. Okay, there are compulsive symptoms of OCD and there are obsession symptoms of OCD. Now, um, obsession, you see signs of anxiety. For obsession symptoms of OCD and signs of anxiety, the person shows up signs of anxiety. There is also doubt. The person begins to doubt situations around the person. That's obsession. You doubt things.
Yeah.
Is this fear of uncertainty? Something bad is going to happen. That's obsession. Something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, there's also this obsession doing things in a particular way. Now, you see, I could read out 10 symptoms of OCD, and doing things in a particular organized way is just going to be one of the symptoms. So, how do you use one symptom to diagnose someone of a health condition? It's wrong. It's wrong. They have to be pattern, behavioral pattern in the person for a period of time before you can make conclusions. Now, you have to be sure, okay, this person, and those patterns must be consistent throughout the period of time. You can put the person under watch for a period of 2-3 months. I'm just saying, two, three
Okay.
months. Then you
Yeah.
observe behavioral patterns. Now, if those patterns are consistent for that period of time, then you can say, okay, there's a possibility of this person having this health condition. Then you go on to check for other health conditions. Now, there are other things the person may be going through that might be triggering that behavior. Someone who is going through, who just experienced a traumatizing situation, is likely going to have this shock, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The person is going to have this
Yeah.
shock and may want to be alone. It doesn't mean the person is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? Give the person a little time. The person will heal. Don't say, oh, because he lost a loved one and he or she is on his own. She's depressed. She's having post-traumatic stress disorder. No, it's not. There are other signs you have to watch out for. And these signs have to be consistent. It has to be a pattern for a period of time, repeatedly, before you
Yeah.
can say, okay, there's a possibility. Then you go on to do other evaluations before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, having known all the signs now, yeah, and like having been familiar with the signs and the symptoms, so what do you do when you notice that someone has all of these signs of mental health disorder? What are you supposed to do? Like if you're close to the person?
You can't basically observe all the signs yourself, but you can observe basic signs yourself. Now, when you
Okay.
notice some signs about the person, if the person is an adult, I would recommend you talk to the person. Try talking to the person to confirm situations around the person. Okay, because
Okay.
you cannot Like I said, you don't have to observe just by looking. You have to go closer, engage the person in a conversation. There might be other things triggering that behavior, and you are not seeing it. So when you go closer to the
Yeah.
person, engage the person, especially an adult in a conversation, you cannot say, okay, so these things I've observed, they're actually true. If it's an adult,
True.
you talk to the adult to go see a therapist. Talk to the adult to go see a therapist. Don't try to help when you're not a professional. The best
Okay.
help you can give to any person with the signs of mental health condition is to recommend the person to see a therapist. Yes.
Okay.
Then, depending on the type of mental health condition, maybe depression, anxiety, and other ones, you can become an emotional support for the person, provide emotional support for the person. It's going to help the person feel better, but still recommend that the person sees a therapist. Because whatever support you're helping, it's not gonna heal the person. It's not a treatment. You're not giving treatment. You're just providing
Yeah.
support for the person. The person needs actual medical treatment, which can only be done by a professional. So that's the only thing you can do. If it's a child, take the child to see a therapist. Now let proper examination be done on the child to ascertain what exactly is wrong
Yeah.
with the child, and treatment be done immediately. The best treatment for any mental health condition is early detection.
Yeah.
Early detection. That's the best treatment. When you detect mental health conditions easily, it becomes able to manage them and prevent complications. Anxiety, depression, the ultimate end of anxiety and depression is self-harm and suicide. But if you detect anxiety and these health conditions, you can then prevent the person from resulting into self-harm and guide against suicidal thoughts. But
True.
when you leave these things unchecked, before you know it, the person is already giving up some self-harm behavior and not saying suicidal thoughts, attempting suicide, and all of that. See,
Yeah.
Nigeria, I keep using Nigeria for Nigerians are depressed. A good percentage of Nigerians are depressed. And this is not me exaggerating. At least half of Nigerian population is depressed.
True.
Within the past 5 years, we've had we've had a nosediving economy. There's been a pandemic. We've had we've had insecurity on the rise. All these things are building up. Now, when you add individual problems, a young man just lost his job and is heading home, and
Yeah.
phone rings and he hears his family member just got involved in an accident or all of that. And this is someone who is going home to probably put himself together and is receiving sad news from here and there. You turn on your TV, you turn on the radio, you want to listen to the news, and it's all bad reports here and there. All terrible. So Nigerians are depressed. We are just denying. We are living in denial. Sorry, that is what we Nigerians are doing. Nigerians are depressed. And
And which is not healthy.
it's not healthy. You can't deny the fact that you need help. Another
Okay.
category of Nigerians that are depressed are the medical professionals. Yes, caregivers in
Oh
Nigeria.
wow.
That's just the truth. A lot of caregivers, and they don't get social security services. They're working around the clock. Caregivers are working around the clock. They don't even have time for their own mental health. They have to deal with another
Yeah.
family's
True.
health condition, and their family's health condition is there. They come back home and they meet a wife who is probably traumatized by something that's happened recently, on all those other family stuff. And who is there to take care of them? So the government does not have things in place that take care of health practitioners. Most times they are depressed. That is the truth. We heard of a doctor, I think 2 years ago and last year. practitioners in Nigeria committed suicide. Those are reported cases. Those are reported cases. There are other cases that are not reported because part of our problem in Nigeria is documentation. Because these things are not
Yeah.
documented, that's why we don't see them. People don't go for checkup. People don't go for therapies. How many schools, how many organizations have a psychiatrist working with them, have a psychologist employed? But professionally standard, every organization is supposed to have a psychiatrist or a psychologist working with them to help check the mental health of employees. But how many
Yeah.
organizations employ them? We produce graduates in psychology every year, graduates in psychometrics every year, graduates in psychotherapy every year. They're all working in the banks. It's unfortunate. They're all working in the banks. People who study
Yeah. That's
guidance and counseling, they're working in the banks. They resorted to teaching in classrooms. They've turned classroom teachers. Some of them are doing businesses online. They're not selling products, skin products, hairs and all and the likes online because organizations are not employing them. Now they might want to set up organizations on their own, start up something like this organization Mentally Aware Nigerians.
yeah.
By the time you look at the policies of starting an NGO in Nigeria, you want to give up. There are no support. There's no support system.
Which is really bad.
It's really bad. It's really bad. So we have to go back to the drawing board. Every organization, government should make it compulsory that once you have people working under you, more than 10 persons working under you, there should be a psychologist working in that organization. Someone who is helping the people keep their mental health sane.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Because
Right.
doctors, how many hospitals? Like I spoke with a doctor like 3 months ago. I got the opportunity to meet with the doctor in a public space. So we got talking. I didn't even know he was a medical practitioner. I didn't know. We saw a woman drag I think an autistic child. And the way they were pulling
Yeah.
the child was resisting. And we're busy pulling the child. I was like, wow, that family only needs to be aware. They only need to know how to take care of that child. And that child might just be
Yeah.
redemption for the family. So the man looked at me and asked me what I do. I explained that we got talking about mental health. And we delved into this aspect of medical practitioners not getting social security services. And he complained bitterly how his colleagues and how some of them have been complaining. There are no provisions. They don't give them breaks to go see a therapist. It's supposed to be compulsory. It's supposed to be mandatory. After working in such a condition for such a period of time, go out there, go and consult a therapist and get your head. It's not easy dealing with people with different health conditions. They, they
Oh,
have
true.
they have their health conditions. Now they have their own personal behaviors that they put up, temper tantrums that they throw at you. You're trying to help them, and they're also throwing temper tantrums at you. They have family members who are coming into the hospital and shouting, yelling at you. You might be having a child who is having an emergency. You have a child, you may be coming from a home with a child having an emergency. But because you swore an oath,
Yeah.
you took an oath to protect lives, to save lives, you're rushing to attend to someone else's child's emergency. And the person's parents, guardians, friends, and whoever, they are there shouting at you. It's a problem that we have to find a way to address. I'm particularly concerned about
Honestly, it's so sad.
I'm particularly concerned about the mental health of caregivers in Nigeria. It's important we talk about that.
Which is very true because basically most times if they're not in the right state of mind, I think our life out it's safe to say sometimes we're in danger.
Of course,
Yeah,
it's
it's
safe
actually
to say that.
it's sad. we look in this country. It's really sad.
Yeah.
You know. Honestly, I would really want us to go on and on with this, but we're really, really eating deep into our time, and I really can thank you enough. But one more question before we leave. So now that we're like we have basic knowledge on the basic science to look out for and what to do. So are there like any authorities in charge we should call when there is a situation that needs like an urgent attention? Because a normal person or like an average person or a random person can give mental health treatment or evaluation. So who are the people we are supposed to call or people we are supposed to talk to or report the case to?
Okay. The Federal Ministry of Health, under its policy of mental health, you are supposed to report
Okay.
every case of mental health to the nearest health center close to you.
Okay.
Yes, if you notice,
Okay. So
now that's why we have health centers around. You report every
yeah.
case of mental health. They may not be able to give you the treatment you need, but they will refer you to where you can get adequate treatment. The
So
safest
like
is
yeah,
just
like
like
basically
reporting,
the first responder.
yeah, it's just like reporting crime to the nearest police station. Report every case of mental health
Yeah.
to the nearest health center close to you.
Okay.
That's what you do. There are
All
some
right.
platforms online that are they are helping out. I've been following up mentally aware Nigerians a lot. Been following them a lot. There are other platforms springing up and they are doing good jobs. So it's just up to you to okay, go online and check for these organizations and see which of them you
Oh,
can easily contact. They're always there. They're always there to help.
okay.
But the best thing is
All
go to
right.
the health center and report a case. Stay safe.
All
Stay safe.
right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Alex Beta Noble. Thank you very much. And to my viewers, once more, I really apologize for these visuals, but I'm glad we got something out of it, and I'm sure you've really have like a deep insight on mental health. And if you want to know more, you can follow him on Instagram at on his IG, on his handle, which is displaying here right now, Alex Black underscore Inc. Or you join, like he said, you search online for one of his mental health organizations like Mental Health Nigeria. And if you know anyone who has a serious situation, please do not do an evaluation by yourself because you are not a professional. Report the case to the nearest health center. They would know what to do. So thank you once more, Mr. Alex, for joining us on the Gist with Laurel this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Laura.
So I hope, all right, I hope you have a wonderful day
You too.
and enjoy the rest of the week.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, my viewers, thank you. I am really sorry we were supposed to be for 30 minutes, but I am sure if we had stayed for an hour, you would have not minded, right? So thank you all very much for all of you who tuned in. And for if you have questions, you can send it to my DM. I would also reply you later. So thank you very much for tuning in and we hope to see you same time next week where we'll have another interesting gist for you. So I remain your host, Chris Laurel, signing out. Bye. Love you guys.